Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Walk and Talk. I'm Greg Cohen from JWB, and this is the JWB Property of the Week. Get ready, we've got a good one here, and I'm going to walk you through that. This is a property that's currently available, and if you're interested in it, of course, you can reach out to my team at JWB. And if you're not ready to buy right now, this is still going to be an incredible opportunity for you. I'm going to break this down, and this is going to be sort of a trial run for you so you can learn how to make that decision, get yourself prepared so when the time is right, you'll be able to pull the trigger with confidence. And if you want to be a part of these properties of the week, you want to do it live with me, I actually reveal it on Thursday as a part of our Not Your Average Investor show. We go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12:30. And on the Thursday show, I reveal my property of the week. And so if you want to join us there in the show, you'll be there with me live, can answer questions of yours on the property, really anything about rental properties in general. And we had an incredible call. I had 40, 50 of our friends out there just firing questions, and I would love to invite you to be there. You can register at jwbshow.com. And so what I do today is an overview of the property of the week, and I bring in a lot of the questions that I had live on the show. So without further ado, I'm going to start the screen share, and we're going to look at this property here on Checkmate Lane. Boom. There we go. 6189 Checkmate Lane. Love the name of this street, by the way. Gives you a lot of confidence that this is certainly one that I have a lot of confidence in for you. The first thing to do if you are new or you're experienced when you come to rental property investing, the first thing you want to do is pay attention to your return on investment. As I'm zooming in here, you can see the return on investment here is just under 10.5%. On a monthly basis, it's going to produce about $250 a month in passive income cash flow to the investor that purchases this home. And so I go so strong about return on investment first. Rather than you going to property purchase price or rather than you going to rent, go to return on investment first. Let that be your guide. And the reason is because return on investment is the great equalizer, right? It takes into account your purchase price, your rents, in addition to other things that you may not be considering. If you have low or high property taxes, if you have low or high property insurance costs, also takes into account your property management fees and maintenance costs and vacancy costs. That's what's included in your return on investment. That's a great equalizer. On the show, I got asked a question about purchase prices and return on investment and your cash flow. And I said, well, our normal cash flow is about $250 a month. So this is really a really normal purchase price. But I said, sometimes I can put properties in front of you that would get close to $300 a month. And everybody's like, oh, that's awesome. Let's do that. And I said, okay, well, just so you know, when that happens, your purchase price is going to go up because your return on investment is always going to be between 9 to 11%. So that's how this works, right? When your return on investment goes up, it takes into account purchase price, rents, all those other factors, and you're left with sort of the great equalizer. It's how your return is going to perform when you take all things into account. So focus on return on investment first. Another question I had was on the cash flow. This $252 a month, which is what we estimate here, that's what's on a normal month for you. Normal month means the rent's coming in, and then you've got your mortgage payment to make, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. You've got your property management fees to pay, but we're not taking into account your maintenance and your vacancy costs because that doesn't happen on a normal month. And we're not taking into account your tax savings and your principal pay down or your property appreciation because that doesn't happen in that month on a normal month. So $250 is literally what your bank account is going to rise when you take in the rents and you pay out the normal expenses, which is your mortgage payment, your property taxes, your insurance costs, and your property management fees. Something else that folks noticed here is they said, this picture, Greg, is this a renovated home? Or is it, has it been renovated yet? There was a little bit of trepidation. People didn't know if it had been renovated. And this is another really good kind of teaching moment here. When you're buying a turnkey rental property from JWB and from many other providers, we're going to be focused on making sure that you have a great experience and a great return on your investment, right? For JWB, one of the best things we do is we provide positive cash flow on day one. You're not going to walk into this with vacancy cost right off the bat, because we want to sell you an asset, not a liability. We want you to have a great first impression. So when you close on the house, there's going to be a resident in place. You're going to be earning positive cash flow. But when you put the home under contract with my team, when you make the decision to buy the house and you put down your initial binder deposit, right? You reserve the home. That home most likely is not going to have a resident signed up, living in the home, signed up on a lease yet. Because what we do is we start to market the home to our investors maybe about a week, maybe 2 weeks before the renovation is 100% complete. So if I was to show you a picture of what this home actually looked like today, it would look really good on the outside. On the inside, there'd still be some things that we have to button up because that's a normal part of what we call the punch process, right? Of punching out a home, make sure the renovation is done. And so we start to market the home, and you got to be comfortable understanding how well your turnkey partner can perform. Make sure you have a lot of confidence they can, of course, finish the construction. And then can they get that home rented quickly so that by the time that you close on the home, you can have a performing asset. So for us, the home goes under contract prior to renovations many times, or prior to the build 100% being complete many times, no matter what happens as far as cost on the build or cost on the renovation. That's JWB's cost. That's not your cost. But we do that. We speed up the timeline. We get the sale in. And of course, the whole time we're marketing the home to the resident. As soon as possible, we get residents in there, and they can go ahead and put a deposit down to rent the home. And this whole beautiful thing comes together during that time from when you're under contract to when you close. There's typically about 30 to maybe 45 days there. So we're working really hard, and we're going to show up there, and I have a lot of confidence that you're not going to wind up with vacancy costs right off the bat. So a lot of questions there, and try to clear that up. It's all about making sure this is done for you as a performing asset at close. You got to be comfortable and do your due diligence on JWB or any turnkey partner you're working with, because most of the time when you put it under contract, it's not going to have that resident living in there and not going to have a lease in place. So there's a little bit of a teaching moment there, and just to get you all acclimated with how it works when you actually purchase a rental property. As we look here at Checkmate, I'll kind of go into the numbers here on the left-hand side so you guys can get familiar here. We've got a purchase price of $165,000. That is really normal for us for a renovated home. On the pricing scale, generally it's about $150,000 to $210,000 for your pricing in Jacksonville of the current market. So overall, this is a low-priced asset. But what you generally see is renovations go from about $150,000 to $180,000, and new construction properties generally go about $180,000 to $210,000. So overall, this is low priced. For renovations, this is about as normal as it gets at $165,000. 3 beds, 2 baths. It's got a 1-car garage. And then the estimated rent range, I'll show you how we get to that in just a second. But of course, that's based on our knowledge and experience in the area. And so we estimate that we're going to have a 2 or a 3-year lease signed at $1,224 a month. Very confident we'll be able to perform at that level. Your property taxes are generally lower with a renovated home, which is nice. If this was a new construction home, you'd have a higher purchase price and you'd have a higher amount of property taxes to pay. Is typically how that goes. And then on the flip side, your homeowner's insurance for a renovated home is generally more expensive. So if this was a new construction home, it would generally be lower on the insurance cost. It's a little bit higher because of the renovation. Renovated homes don't, in the past, they didn't have building codes at the same level that they do now. Of course, everything we do is up to code, but from an insurance company's perspective, they view those a little more risky and they charge a higher premium for a renovated home that was built many years ago. No HOA dues. Your management fees are 10% of the rents that we collect. And you can see here it was built in 1978, 1,200 square feet on city sewer there. So many of you have become familiar with this map. This is one of the maps that I love the most. I'm zooming in here and I'm showing you the map of Jacksonville, right? We got the wonderful Atlantic Ocean over here. We are a coastal city, which is incredible. We've got the St. Johns River right through the center here, and we've got downtown Jacksonville right here. All of these blue dots, these blue markers, are all of the homes that JWB has renovated or built and sold to our clients as turnkey rental properties since 2006. There's over 2,000 properties that we have sold in the exact same neighborhoods as the one that I'm recommending for you here on Checkmate. Have an incredible amount of experience, and I'm going to show you just about how much experience we have and how we're able to, of course, create a consistent asset for you and nail our numbers for you. That's really, really important. When you're choosing a turnkey rental property company to go with, interview, do your due diligence on the partner. Don't get so wrapped up in the property, because the truth is any partner out there can juice their returns to get that extra, 10% or 11% or 12% or 13%. If I wanted to, I can make that number appear on that evaluation pretty easily by doing things such as not including closing costs or going lower on the maintenance cost that I expect for you. And many other turnkey providers do that because they know you're paying attention to returns, and they know that you're probably going to pay more attention to the returns than you are the partner. But I'm telling you to do the opposite, right? Do your research on the partner, then make sure the returns are right in line with what your goals are, and you'll be better in the long run. All right, so lest I digress, let's look at the property here, or the map of Jacksonville. You start to see 4 neighborhoods that we invest in very heavily. This is called the west side of Jacksonville. This is the north side of Jacksonville. This is Arlington, and this is the south side. These are our 4 main neighborhoods, and that's where we put our own money. I've been investing with my own money here since 2006. That's where we're going to put you with your rental property here in Jacksonville with JWB. It's because these neighborhoods work. They've worked since 2006. They continue to work, and there's over 2,000 properties as evidence that it works out there. All right, so this one here on Checkmate is in the west side right here. So as I zoom in here, this is the property on Checkmate, right around a number of other properties very closely related to it and in similar neighborhoods. And I'm gonna show you just how similar here. So as I zoom in here, get to probably this is about a half mile's distance radius right here. You can start to see just how many homes in a half a mile we know what the rents are, right? There's probably, I don't know, probably 30 properties right here that we manage that we know exactly what the rents are. So if you're wondering how I know that we're going to be able to perform at $12.24 for a rent on that property, I'm not guessing. It's because there's 30 other properties that support that will be able to rent that home for $12.24. This is really important when you're choosing a turnkey rental property company to work with. As I just mentioned, there's a million ways to juice the returns on your property evaluations. You want to work with a turnkey partner that has been around for many, many years. The reality is that a lot of these turnkey companies just showed up like 2 years ago, and it's really hard to perform well. It's hard to know exactly how many pieces of the puzzle we have to put in place to make this a passive return for clients and to actually hit your return numbers if you've only been in the game 2 years. Most of the time, these companies have, I can count the number of employees that they have. I can count it on probably 2 hands, right? Maybe 1 hand. And, JWB has about 80. We don't just hire people because we like them. It's because it's what's required to perform. You need to have staff. You need to have an office. You need to not be just rolling around rolling around in your car trying to find properties. And you need to have property management in-house to perform the best for you so that there's no excuses when it comes to investing in this rental property, right? Work with a turnkey company that does that. All right, so we've got most of our assets. I'll say we've got 4 main neighborhoods. If you look at where our assets are of those 4 neighborhoods, I would imagine by a small margin, I bet the most are on the west side there. And so, you're talking probably out of all the homes we manage over 3,600 homes. There's probably 1,000 properties on the west side. And as we go in even closer to this neighborhood in Checkmate, there's probably 30 there that support the rent. So these are some of the things that you need to ask for and require from your company that you're working with if you're thinking about making a rental property investment. So there we have it. There's the home on 6189 Checkmate. This one's currently available. If it's something that you want to add to your portfolio, you're interested in it, reach out to me. You can drop me a comment here in Facebook or any of our social channels. But the better thing to do is to connect with my team. You can set up a time to speak with my team at chatwithjwb.com. And if you're already a current client, you want to add this to your portfolio, reach out to your portfolio manager. They'll be happy to help you, get you set up, and this could be one in your portfolio performing for you very, very quickly here. Appreciate all you being here with me on the Walk and Talk, and just invite you to be a part of the show. The next episode, live episode, is Tuesday at 12:30 Eastern. You can register at jwbshow.com. Have a great weekend, everybody.